This food truck pulls in $22,000 a week. And this guy started it just 7 months ago.
Yeah, so I remember just seeing my first customer and I was in the truck like shaking, like I don't even know how to cook.
So roughly how much did it take to get started?
So we spent $1,000 for the trailer.
Get out of here, $1,000 for the trailer?
Yeah, we actually used a platform called So opening night, we had about 120 people, and your viewers can copy my playbook if they need to.
Let me get this straight. You're only spending 10 hours a week on this business?
Yep.
How? Wait, so if you're working 10 hours a week, and the truck's making $22,000 a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like $2,200 an hour.
I never thought of it that way.
Who else is in the wrong business right now? I'm out here in Texas to uncover the secrets of one of America's fastest growing food trucks.
So we just come from a lot of poverty, and honestly, I was just never hitting anything. I couldn't get a job due to my past, so I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship.
Tell us a little bit about Goody Soul Kitchen and what makes you guys special.
Okay, so Goody Soul Kitchen, we are the only late night soul food spot in America. So nobody else sells lamb chops, fried chicken, fried catfish after 12 a.m.
Gotcha, and how long ago did you start?
7 months. No background in food, never worked in the kitchen.
I mean, your menu's pretty straightforward. Give us a quick snapshot. I know we'll dive into that a little bit later.
So it consists of 4 proteins, 4 sides, a cornbread.
Yep.
We kind of dissected the business and we walked around to a bunch of food trucks and we're like, nobody wants to wait 20 minutes for food. So what we kind of did, we were like, we're going to figure out how to get you guys soul food in a whisper of 5 minutes and it's fresh food.
Awesome. Tell us where we are. What's the plan for today?
So right now we're at Restaurant Depot. We usually do our shopping on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we usually go in here, spend our money, take our food to the prep, and then we prep our food out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and get ready for the work week on Thursday.
Tell us a little bit about the shopping experience. You don't often do what the chefs do. What's kind of the funky, quirky part about that?
So when I'm doing it, I'm like real strategic, real strict on it. Like I'll look at our numbers, I'll sometimes cut that. But when your chef goes in there, they're just like, I'm getting what I need for the next 8 days. We're not even open 8 days, right? But I don't blame them. Like I said, these guys are good at what they do, so I kind of let them, do their thing and stuff like that. But I just kind of really keep the budget where it is. But sometimes you can't get around that with them.
So why this place? I'm just curious. Give us a couple snippets. You've got everything you need here to run the food truck.
Yeah, everything. So most likely, except for the lamb, that's the only thing that we don't get here. But I love Restaurant Depot. Like I said, it's one of those places where the pricing is not that bad. Coming here, the people help you. People make sure things are like put together for you and stuff like that. And I just love it. Like you get everything here. We literally source everything from here.
That's awesome. How much are we spending on a typical, week before opening hours?
We started out back in September was spending only like $800, and we were like, all right, we thought that was a lot. But now we're up to that $3,000 to $4,000 range.
How many people does that feed day one?
Approximately probably 1,000 because we do 3 a night.
Oh, you're right. You're talking about the whole week.
So around 300 people a night.
Let's talk about your experience. Do you come from an entrepreneurial background?
So I didn't come from an entrepreneurial background. I've seen a lot of people doing their own business and stuff like that, but I never understood what was going on growing up. So, I was just like, okay, I thought that they were either inherited or somebody gave it to them.
Yeah.
So as far as building anything, I never had any experience or anything like that doing it.
What did you learn? What resources of getting into it, not knowing anything?
It's no plan B. Entrepreneurship is you jump out a plane and you build a parachute on the way down. Yeah. Especially when it came to the food industry. Like I know nothing about it.
All right, well, let's head out to the prep kitchen and show you guys how everything's done.
Yep.
Cool, I'll follow you. All right, so this is the prep kitchen.
Yeah.
Curious a little bit about food prep in general. How much is done here as opposed to the trailer?
Okay.
And what do you pay for the kitchen? Just curious.
So about 90% of the business starts here. And then the next 10% is just being at the truck, preparing the food and stuff like that, handing it out. We did start out at $25 an hour, and we're typically here probably about 15 to 20 hours a week. And then we pay a monthly fee just for like storage and stuff like that too. Excellent. So it averages to be around like $3,000 a month.
All right, let's do some fried chicken prep.
Yep, here are the things that we kind of put in there. We got a lemon pepper. We got a Cajun season, a Montreal chicken. Okay. We're gonna go again with some hot sauce, and then we're gonna go with some mustard.
So later on, Dawon, we're gonna ask you for like a step-by-step blueprint on getting started, right? But before we get into that, give us just a quick breakdown on startup costs and how you spent the money and where. Okay,
so our $1,000 was spent on just basically closing docs and stuff like that on the ClickLease thing.
Which is the trailer purchase.
Yeah, the financing side of things.
Tell us in 30 seconds, what is that? Because $1,000 for a trailer, I mean, typically they're what, 80, 60 grand sometimes for the right trailer.
That. Our first one, it came out to be 43.
Okay.
And then they financed 100% of it, and we had to pay $1,000 for basically closing costs and stuff like that. ClickLease is a really good tool that like entrepreneurs should take advantage of. If you got good credit. If you had a 680 credit score, they'll give you the trailer for as little as $0 down. And then after that, we went on to financing the food with a Gordon credit card. We filled out that credit card application. We got that on the net 30, and they gave us a $5,000 line of credit for the food also. So we took the money that we did have saved up, and we spent a lot of our money on marketing and the rollout.
Take me back to day one, first day of opening. How much did you guys make? What was going through your head at that point?
It's always exciting when you see something come, you know, the light. But our first day was about at 2,600.
Almost $3,000, huh?
Yeah. We had a really good line of stuff like that. Soft opening type crowd, family friends thing. It was cool.
And you did sort of a trial before the opening date?
Oh, that was our tasting.
Just tasting.
Yeah,
that was the first thing you've ever done, right?
Yeah, it was a nice event. We invited a bunch of content creators to get a bunch of eyes on the business. That's something that contribute to a lot of our success. People seeing it, people asking questions, people thinking like, hey, what is this? And then just having like late night soul food.
Yeah.
You know, people seeing that's coming, you know, so they're like, I just want to try this to try it.
That's awesome. Guys, if you want to hear incredible insights from entrepreneurs like Dawon here, make sure to like and subscribe. You know, we greatly appreciate it. All right, so chicken's done. This is usually what marinates at least a day?
Yep.
And you guys do this on a Monday, Tuesday?
Tuesday. So
Okay.
the marinate for Wednesday, then open up on Thursday.
For sure. All right, what's next? Show us the sauces maybe?
Yeah, our famous honey jerk sauce.
Cool, let's go check it out. Take us through your month-over-month revenue.
Okay, so when we first started, we were seeing anywhere between that 4,000 a month range.
Not just barely breaking even.
Yeah, but again, we were just starting. We were trying to figure out, you know, flows and things like that. And then going into around like December, that's when we start seeing that 7,000 to 6,000 a month. I mean, a week. I'm sorry, range. And then after that, now we're anywhere between like 80,000 a month right now.
Wow, incredible. I mean, profit margins that you guys have been able to achieve are absolutely phenomenal. So stay tuned to hear more about that. Let's talk about bringing in new customers. What did you do? Share with us some of the experiences you learned.
I will say, just to tell people to do a rollout. A lot of people don't understand what a rollout is, but I'm like, you know, get on social media, start posting, this is coming, start building that anticipation, throw a tasting. And even if you're in a community where you're saying, hey, I don't feel like people's gonna taste this food, get on there and get on your Facebook group and put together a tasting, a free tasting, and have people try the food. After that, the next thing I would do is get on social media and start posting the food, right? So what we do is for every single truck that we do roll out, we do a food shoot. We cook all the food, then we basically take pictures of the food, and then we post it on the social media. Another gem is to where it doesn't cost a lot of money, but run ads behind your food, to where you can get on Instagram and spend about $5 a day and just run some ads on just basically getting people to see your food.
All right, take us through the first couple months, right? What was life like? Where was your head at as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? What were some of the biggest challenges you were faced with?
Month 1 to 3, it was us just figuring everything out, like failing. We had to take a step back and look at what we were kind of doing, right? Because we were just running like chickens with our head cut off just to get open. And I remember being in it, just like, as soon as we would close, I would have so much relief. Like I just got through another day. When I hired that consultant, and once I did that, everything just streamlined.
So the consultant came in after 3 months of chaos, essentially.
After 3 months of chaos, and fixed our recipe books, fixed our staffing, taught our staff how to actually clean things and stuff like that. And then from there, everything just kind of like took off. Another odd thing was we never had a problem getting customers. Like we always had customers. We just needed to figure out how to feed the customers. So at that point, I was like, okay, I got to figure something out.
Yeah. All right, Dawon, you ready for some blitz?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, so what's the successful food truck concept you wish you had come up with?
Pizza.
What's the best part of owning a food truck business?
Freedom.
What's the worst part of owning a food truck business?
People.
If you could serve any entrepreneur at your truck, who would it be and why?
Keith Lee.
What's the most expensive, quote unquote, fun thing you've ever bought and how much?
Expensive, fun thing I ever bought.
Is that the car?
Yeah.
Is that the Bentley outside?
Yeah. I hate that car, but.
All right, what's one quote you live by?
John 13:7. For what you do not know now, later on you'll understand.
Amen to that. Oh, hey, sorry. You have the chicken, right? It'll just be a few more minutes. Running a food truck like Dawon's might look like fun, and it is, but behind every $22,000 week, there's a mountain of problems. We're talking chaos during rush hours, long wait times, missed pickups, and not to mention hungry employees.
That's why if owning a food truck, you have to have a custom-built app from OrderUp Apps. Makes all the difference. I'm Charles Levinson, founder of Smart Drinks Franchising. Using OrderUp Apps has completely transformed my business.
OrderUp gives you your very own branded mobile app. Your food, your brand, your way. As an official Square partner, it streamlines ordering by sending tickets straight to the kitchen, stacks pickups to handle rushes, and automatically sends text messages when the order is ready. You can even run loyalty programs all in one place. Best part, you don't ever give up a cut. With OrderUp apps, there are no transaction or delivery fees. Ever. And this doesn't take months. Your branded app can go live within 24 to 48 hours, and their team will help you with every step of the setup process. Feeding hungry customers starts with feeding your business. So click the link in the description below and let OrderUp apps take your food truck to the next level. What other systems do you want to mention that you've implemented here in this kitchen that streamline everything in the business?
Outside of, the PAR system that we have in place to make sure that, it's easier for our chef to transport things onto the truck, I will say the prepping process. We typically prep everything on one day. So now it's not hindering on the staff and like burning them out during the week too. So that's something that we kind of put in place too, to where all of our stuff is prepped down and situated and all in one day.
How long does a prep take for the chef? Maybe that's a question for him, but Tuesday, Wednesday prep, Thursday, first day open.
What do you say? No, we prep on one day, so they're probably here 8 hours, 9 hours.
Not bad. I mean, just give it a full day and then you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, for the week, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to go check out the food truck, make some food. Let's head out there. How long did it take you to go from idea, actual food truck, and do you need to be a chef to get into this industry?
Honestly, you don't need to be a chef, right?
You made that very clear.
Truck, it took me about 2 weeks to come up with the idea. It was at the point where I was like, I told you I was done with tacos, bro. I was done with tacos, and I'm like, we need some type of food where I can eat on a late night. I can go get something that's good. Brought the idea to my friend. He said, let's do it. And from there, we wrote.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys are inspired by what he's saying, because it's obvious that anybody and everybody can get started.
Yep.
For those that want to go from idea to food truck with minimal capital, give us a step-by-step blueprint. What would you do?
Oh, first, like I said, I would look at a deficit in basically the area that you're in, as far as food deficit. Our niche was, late night soul food. It was something where we were like, okay, we need food at a certain amount of time, right? The next thing I would do is I would find the capital. That's kind of like the easy part, if you understand it. If your credit is good over at 680 or that 700 mark, go out to your local banks, find the capital, go out to the guys who build the trailers and ask them, do they do in-house financing? A lot of these guys actually will rent these trucks out for you too. If you're somebody who can't find the financing or don't have the credit, they'll rent the truck out to you as also.
Okay.
After that, I will source a chef, have that chef source out my menu, and then add that chef also source out my employees. And once I'm done there, then my job is just to get the marketing side done and then go from there.
Why did you actually go with a trailer as opposed to a food truck?
My thought process was this, right? I never like to connect two things to where my business can actually shut down. So when you have a food truck, if anything breaks on that truck, you're shut down for that day. And I was like, I didn't want to get involved with that. Now the trailer is a little bit more work because you do have to hook this thing up, empty everything and move it, take it to the commissary when you need to take it. But however, it's more suitable for the long run. If my truck does break down, let's go get a U-Haul, still pull this thing and it'll still operate.
Well, on that note, what is your maintenance cost then for the trailer as opposed to what the truck could have been?
Well, honestly, these propanes, they run me $170 a week. They come out and they change it for that. But again, we really never have a lot of breakdowns.
So no maintenance besides the the propane that you constantly
need. Besides the propane, yeah. Anything else is like kind of small maintenance stuff out there. A maintenance company does charge us $125 every time they come out, just so they can make their money. But half of the time, it's not even a big problem.
Whether you've got an idea or are looking for one, we've partnered with Brandon Vaughn to bring you guys absolutely everything you need to make it a reality for free. You'll learn how to validate your business idea, secure startup funding, and build your brand. You'll also gain access to worksheets, checklists, and everything Brandon wished he had when he first started. Click the link in the description below and claim free access to the same framework that allowed Brandon Vaughn to build 12 multi-million-dollar businesses. All right, let's order. I think we're all hungry. What's the best-selling item, by the way, here?
We're pretty much known for our crack fried chicken.
Nice.
That's like the huge jumbo wings. The macaroni and cheese is really also good. I like the southern fried cabbage, but the collard greens kind of get everybody too sometimes.
All right.
So if I'm you, I'm getting the chicken, man.
All right. We'll get one chicken, please.
Fried chicken, you got it, my friend.
You got it,
Does that
sir.
come with two sides? What would you like with that, my friend?
Collard greens, and then camera guy, what do you want?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. All right, let's do mac and cheese for the camera guys.
Excellent. Perfect. And can I add a goodies juice onto your tip?
Yeah, no, I'd love to try it. Do you guys actually make this yourself?
Yeah. It's all in-house.
What is it?
So this is gonna be our house lemonade today. It's kind of got like an orange kick to it. We like to vary the flavors smoothly, so come back and check us out for sure.
Well, yeah, especially like, what, 95 degrees out here right now? This just goes down so well.
For this nice to see.
Yep.
Question for you as far as what's the average ticket price then when people order?
I mean, it's usually around that $28 to $30 mark.
So you're definitely on the more expensive side for food
Yep.
trucks, right? That's pretty obvious. Talk to us about the pricing strategy.
It was on the expensive side when I first started, but then as you kind of run the model and you see things like that, you notice that you're not getting food like this after 12 o'clock, right? So you got to pay a little bit more. And then outside of it, we also look at our location and we did studies of basically the average income around here too. So we are downtown. We are like near like a lot of clubs and stuff like that too. So we do understand that, you know, these people tend to have a little bit more of a higher income.
Any pricing strategies for others in other markets, maybe serving different kinds of food?
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
the best way to...
definitely location, definitely time. Always look at your timing. Like if you're someone who's basically open 7 days a week and you're open between the healthy hours of 11 to like 9, then you can't really price that much because everybody else is open during that time.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who's looking for, you know, how to get the prices up a little bit more, I would looking at that midnight crowd, you know, from 12 a.m. to probably that 3 a.m. crowd. And that's where you're able to, you know, hike your prices a little bit. But also checking out your location. Like, well, before we got here, we studied this location. So we didn't also just look at it and say, oh, we want to move here. We also look at the medium income and look at the income of the residents and stuff around here too.
How much are you spending on marketing today, month 7, and how has it evolved compared to day 1?
We really don't spend a lot of money on marketing. Like outside of our rollout and outside of that plan right there that we had in, you know, we just really strategically understand how to work social media to our best advantage. And we also cross-utilize, you know, services between other influencers and stuff like that. So our marketing budget right now is set at $200 a week, but that $200 a week could be put in between new uniforms for employees. Let's just say we got some yard signs out, making sure that, you know, we got some posters and stuff like that out. But, you know, the way we try to strategize on social media is our marketing department is required to post 4 times a day. The next thing we do is we work on that reel, that one master reel a day. Right, and that master reel usually go out on our Thursdays, which will bring that crowd in if we go viral on that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Gotcha.
Right, so we focus on that. And we also watch our professional dashboard on our Instagram. We make sure that it stays over 500,000 people viewing the page at all times. When it starts to drop below that, that's when we know we got to start to do some other
Increase a
things
little
on
bit.
marketing. Yep.
And so no Facebook, you haven't mentioned that once, no Google PPC, no Yelp, none of that stuff.
No.
Just Insta.
Instagram and TikTok.
Gotcha. All right, well, it sounds like the chicken's done. Let's go give it a shot.
Got you.
Man,
You're like, where you get a dog from?
We got an order ready for UpFlip.
that's right here.
All right, my man, check this out.
What do we got? Come closer,
We
guys.
got that crack fried chicken, mac
Oh,
and cheese
man.
and collard greens. Our staple right here. We're gonna finish with that crack seasoning, okay?
Let's do it, yeah. Look at all that love. Half of it's going on the floor, but that's
That's right.
part of the seasoning process.
Everything gets seasoned into your goodies. We're gonna finish up with a little parsley,
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
Perfect.
Love myself some parsley.
Nice fried chicken, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Here you are.
All right, here's a close-up. Look at that, mac and cheese looks bomb.
man. Damn, I wish you were paying me, buddy.
What kind of cheese are we using here?
Oh, that's a smoked Gouda. That's a cheddar. That's a shark cheddar.
Oh yeah. One of the cheesiest mac and cheese I've ever had.
Yeah.
But you can't have too much cheese in mac and cheese.
Yeah.
What's the rent at this location? What's the story? How did you get this place, if you're willing to share?
Okay. We pay $1,500 a month, and then our security deposit was $3,000. So that gets us free electricity, and then we also get water too. I got this location in a weird situation, right?
Yeah.
I used to rent this building out. Like I used to have a sports bar where I got into a bad business deal, and then I ended up having a relationship with the landlord and told her I was starting a food truck. And she was sketchy at first, like, you already failed on that business, so why would you do another one? I'm like, I'll be back to start.
Entrepreneur, man.
Exactly, and then that's how I got this location. I think it's a very, lucrative location, especially on a Friday night, on a Saturday night. It gets really packed around here.
On that note, talk to us about what you look for in new locations.
Now, from the things that I look for now is like free rent, because a lot of these guys will give you free rent. A lot of these bars, sports bars, beer gardens, and stuff like that. They will give you free rent and give you free electricity as long as you bring the food. So I kind of didn't know that, but now that I'm shopping around my next food truck, a lot of these guys are offering just completely free rent, and they're just saying, hey, just pull up, cook good food, handle a large volume of people, and you guys can stay here for free.
So you're looking for busy places, open super late.
Beer gardens, more of just like bars and stuff like that. I stay away from food truck parks. The reason why I stay away from those is because it's too saturated. I don't want to be near anybody else or doing anything with anybody else.
Makes sense.
So I kind of stay away from those guys.
Talk to us about how childhood shaped your mindset today as an entrepreneur.
My childhood growing up was like pretty rough and stuff like that. So it was like a little different than like the normal child, when it came to growing up. As far as like, I was just speaking on like the support system. Like I didn't have a lot of support when I did a lot of great things. So it's a shifting that over to entrepreneur. I don't need a bunch of people clapping for me to get something going, right? I'm typically able to build a business from the ground up and get it going and get it to, where I need to get it to without a bunch of support and a bunch of help doing it.
You're not afraid of failure.
I'm not afraid of any of that.
I mean, growing up, how often did that happen that kind of shaped your resilience today? You're like, whatever happens, whatever, I'll get through it.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, as weird as it kind of sounds, I never really failed at anything. Like, I was player of the year in basketball in 2011. I was really good at football. My parents just never seen me play sports. So I wasn't, as the other kids would have their parents walk them out on senior day and stuff like that, I never kind of had that, right? So my coaches would kind of be that support system and stuff like that for me. So it wasn't to the fact that I'm not scared to fail. It was just to the fact that I always operated excellent, you know, and did big things. I just never really had support to doing it. So I'm able to do a lot of things behind closed doors too, and not showcase it to the world and stuff like that, and take my accomplishments and still be humble and stuff like that too.
All right, with all your success today, do you think money buys happiness?
No.
What does it buy for you?
Convenience, freedom. My happiness sits in, you know, the being able to impact others, to do bigger things and stuff like that. Seeing people grow, and this, you know, seeing more of my kids just grow up and not have to worry about a bunch of stuff too. So
True.
that's where my happiness lies in that.
Talk about your leadership style, how it's evolved over the last couple of years. Anything you want to highlight?
This business has definitely grown me a lot, you know, as an entrepreneur. You're dealing with people. I'm dealing with a team of 5. I'm dealing with people who work really long hours, you know, so I got to have a sensitive subject to where, you know, sometimes they're tired. I try to be more of an ease guy. Hey, if there's a problem, come to me. I try to be solution-based, to when, you know, when I first came in this thing, I'm just like, either, you know, you're doing a job or you're not, you're getting fired, right? But you start to realize you can't fire everybody, right? Because you need people to run this business. So understanding the delegation side of things too, right? If you got somebody good, you need to pay them. A lot of people get in the industry and they say, hey, well, you know, they want to put their ego aside and say, they want to use their ego and say, well, I can just find another chef. It doesn't happen that way. Because once you get another chef, your food cost fluctuates, and then your food tasting fluctuates too. So you want to keep the same exact prep guy and the same chef as long as you can. And that's the secret to keeping consistency in your food.
Mm-hmm. How was the learning curve for you?
We were like throwing the fire. Like I said, when we started this business, we started with a chef and he kind of like walked out on us. So
wow.
It was me and my partner, Jessica, and you know, we kind of just were throwing the fire and we kind of just fell forward. You know, people don't understand what it takes to go into this business model. Even though it's a food truck, it's way harder than a restaurant. And I don't think people understand that. It's a lot of moving pieces here, right? You go from here, you go to a prep kitchen, and then you go to a truck. And then you got to work on storage. When in a restaurant, you go from here to a restaurant, everything's there. You can cook it and get it out like that. So I was invested in it. So I had to really keep it afloat.
Yeah.
Or I was going to lose the money, but ideally, I understand it.
If you could change 1 or 2 things about your journey, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing, it would be, you know, more of hiring like the chef, understanding the industry to where chefs do come in and consult you. Like this guy I got behind me, Aaron, he basically will come in, build out a menu, hire your staff, train your staff, go to your prep kitchen, set your prep up, and do all those things for you for a small price, right? When in the beginning, I was just failing and just failing. So I finally figured out, wait, I can hire somebody to come and do this part. And after that, everything is streamlined.
Can you score a jackpot from the get-go as far as hiring the right chef, or are you going to go through a couple hires and
You're
fires?
You're going to go through a couple hires, but the thing is, I think that a lot of people should understand the consultant part of it. Because even when I did hire him to come in and do consulting, you know, he still trained my staff and everything like that. So I was just able to just go in there and just manage him at that point. He was our consultant chef in the beginning. Then he came back and was like, you know what? I like the way I like what you guys are doing. I like how your journey is going. I want to come and enjoy forces with you guys.
So why are you open only a few days a week? And then also location-wise, you're stationary. I always thought of food trucks being all over town.
Yeah, the 4 days a week thing, like I said, it came in the beginning to where we had to only stay open 4 days a week because we couldn't kind of figure out how to get open at 7. But outside of it, I seen the anticipation that keeps building up. And the phone rings, it starts ringing probably on Tuesday, like, hey, can I put in an order for Thursday? Or this, and we get like the pre-rush. I'm like, let's not open up more days. Let's keep it that way, you know, and then keep everybody like just basically waiting.
So the key word is anticipation.
Yep.
I like that. Build
Anticipation. And then why we don't move our location, because first and foremost, it's way too much work. But then also building that consistency in just a location, and because that consistency in the crowd actually coming out. Like once you type something in after a certain amount of times in Google, it links that address to your food truck. And it's convenience. Like, you know, people love convenience.
Cool. I'm excited to find out kind of how you captured that location, but we'll talk about it when we get there. A little challenge for you. Imagine you have to start a new food truck, new concept, new everything. Marketing is the question. What would be your approach? Give us a step-by-step what you would do with $100 to your name.
If I have my iPhone, the first thing I'm going to do is get on my product, take pictures, get those pictures out. I'm going to spend probably 25 on just ads, probably to get it rolling for the first 2 to 3 weeks.
On Insta?
On Insta. I'm going to spend another 30. I'm going to take that 30 and get yard signs, and then I'm going to probably, you know, work my magic of what I do know behind, you know, social media and stuff like that to get myself on the schedule. And what that rollout schedule looks like is I'll start out with the first 2 weeks, get each product photo taken at least posting 2 times a day, and then getting that 1 reel a day for each thing that's rolling out. What that'll do is I want to make sure that I'm getting my product in front of people's faces and I'm rolling this thing out the right way.
Cool.
That's what I would do with $100.
That'll get you far. You have amazing reviews on Google, by the way.
Yeah.
And so what's your philosophy on customer experience?
The customer's always right. There's a million places in the world they can eat, but they sit up here and eat with us every single weekend. So it's like, I appreciate that more than anything.
You have their trust.
Yep. And they're always right. If they tell me that hey, this chicken didn't come out this way, we'll refund you. And we do a model where we refund and we give them a free meal. So we don't make them pay for their next meal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. And then, you know, we just always, they're right. We're catering to them and that's what we're here to do.
That's cool. You have high expectations. Doesn't seem like you do that very often because the food is delicious.
Yeah.
As far as the remake.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But
yeah.
it happens. How do you ensure consistency and quality service, especially when you're not there?
Yeah, so we operate,
Expectations.
like I said, like a lot of our components in our business do come from a restaurant staff. So we have a real head chef. We have a recipe book that everybody follows. The training part of it, I'm not too hands-on with that. Like I said, I delegate that out to my chef and stand things like that, but he just makes sure that everybody follows the recipe book to ensure the consistency in the food. The customer service aspect is something that I am involved in. So basically that's a intense 2-week training. We get them on there, we train them for 2 weeks. Then we leave them on there by themselves for a week just to see if they can handle everything and stuff like that. And then from there, that's how we pick our people. That part is very important because that's the first guy and the last guy that the customer sees, right? And so that guy in the front, he's the person that we really spend the most time on and make sure that he's compensated well and stuff like that too.
What's the most common mistake you see new food truck owners make all the time?
I mean, honestly, starting a business and not looking at it from the bird's eye view of you're not supposed to work in the business, right? A lot of these guys come in the industry and they think that, you know, they're supposed to cook there every single day and be there every single day and just stay there all the time, right? And what happens is you'll see them 6 or 7 months later and they're still in the same exact position because they don't start the business from the outside. They always want to work inside the business. So at first is understanding that why are you doing this? Do you want to cook or do you want to become a business owner? The next thing is marketing. Like a lot of people don't spend a lot of money on marketing, presentation, and understanding that what your brand looks like is probably what your food will taste like. Understanding your audience, understanding your location, understanding that you don't have to jump around in all these places to actually make money. Our biggest thing was, you know, branding out that location, staying in that location and using that location, right? But if you Google another truck that keep on moving, your customer base doesn't know who you are. So you end up getting lost like everybody else. I remember there were times where I ate food and I'm like, where's that truck at? Never found it again.
So you fired and hired a lot of people.
Yeah.
What kind of traits and characteristics do you look for now?
First of all, we run like a family atmosphere, so we try to keep egos out the way. A lot of chefs that do come in this industry, they are really ego driven, and sometimes they want to do things their way, right? When in reality, it doesn't work that way. It's like we have a recipe book, we have something that we put together, and this is what we got to do. So the people that we kind of look for is the ones that are hungry, people who don't have a big following and stuff like that, but they're still in their upbringing in their career. Because we believe in, you know, investing in them and pushing them to the next phase and the next level and stuff like that. I always say, you know, the only qualified person on your team needs to be the chef. Everybody else can just be people that you can build on. The team that we got now is a solid team that I think can run a restaurant.
That's awesome. So your plan is to open more food trucks, which is pretty cool. How are you doing things differently now with all the mistakes you made, the things that you know? Can you give us a quick snapshot?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this time around, you know, since we have the financials to go out there and go get the consultant and stuff like that, we brought in a whole consulting team in the beginning. And they basically built the business out from start to finish. As far as cooking the recipes, letting us know, you know, hiring the staff and everything. So they basically did all that in the beginning for us.
Sounds pretty easy, I guess, when you've built up the capital to kind of expand in other ways.
Yep. So once we did that, and then we're doing a whole new concept too. So we decided, okay, bird and buns. So it's more of like hoagies and brisket cheesesteaks and things like that. You know, kind of an easier option to get food out quicker.
That's cool.
We don't want to put no more soul food on the food truck.
Wait, so that's going away from food truck and becoming a restaurant?
Yeah, Goodies will be in a restaurant by this December.
Gotcha. So for those visiting Houston towards the end of the year, don't look for the food truck.
Look for the restaurant.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. As a serial entrepreneur, what are some traits that you've noticed that really make serial entrepreneurs stand out?
First, I would like to say they're insane, right?
Insane.
Insane people, right? They're insane. They're
wrong,
very delusional to these ideas. When I first started R&R Junk Room, I started that thing with a pickup truck. People thought I was insane going around, picking up all this stuff and putting it on a little dump truck and just rolling like that, right? The same thing with the food thing. They're like, You're going to start this thing, you have no idea what you're doing. Sometimes you got to be that delusional, right?
Okay.
So delusional, insane, very, 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 very strategic. Very strategic and very opportunist. You know, they're always looking at the glass half full. Then you got the guys, you know, who come in the industry who are just trying to calculate everything, but you can't calculate something that you don't know. So I kind of learned to never plan for the things I don't know and kind of just figure things out as I go.
Hey, before you go, if you have a business idea or are still searching for one, this is a quick reminder. We have partnered with Brandon Vaughn, who's built 12 multi-million-dollar businesses, to give you his exact blueprint for free. So if you want to claim free access to that, make sure to click the link in the description below. And if you're interested in more food truck episodes, make sure to check out episode 225, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.